Hello Gemini, welcome back to Mermaid Love Tarot for your bundle for 5-part reading where you find everything without the need to go anywhere else. If you guys are watching the short, please make sure that you watch the whole reading because in the short there's only 3 minutes, so your messages might get cut off. Plus in the full reading you get to see everything. All right, we're going to begin by checking your energies. I hope that you guys are doing well. We're going to just jump right in. And it says anger and chaos. All right, so some of you, Spirit, when they give us these cards, is straight up messages. So clearly some of you are maybe going through a lot of anger caused by chaos, right? Because anger and chaos aren't the same thing. Chaos is what brings anger. And so you guys are very furious at this moment. I hope that things get better, but let's see if we might see the 5 of Wands in during the reading, because that means arguments, chaos, or whatever. Okay, so we're gonna see what we see. Also, you guys, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe, because when I go live, everyone who subscribed can ask questions regarding to tarot. I answer free tarot questions during my lives. So that's a good moment for you to ask your questions for free. Also, people have already seen how strong my gifts are. How I predict the cards. And so I've been getting a lot of personal readings. So if you're interested in a personal reading, I'm already, up to date. So I have some space. You can just see that in the description box. I also leave the egg ritual video at the end. Okay, so all you have to do is tap on it and make sure you clear and clean your energies. There's somebody that and this doesn't have to be romantically, but there's somebody who is constantly blaming others, who never holds themselves accountable. Okay, so they're never responsible, they don't want to hear it, they'll gaslight, whatever. Okay, they make bad decisions, they don't let people make good decisions because all they do is lie, and then they'll say, stop blaming me, when they know that they're the ones to blame. Okay, and this could be a friendship, this could be a romantic relationship, this could be whatever, that this person, is the way they are. And if you're watching, cross-watching, also, welcome you guys. Don't remember to like, share, and subscribe, because that really helps my channel, so I can continue to do this. I'm trying to keep the readings at below 15 minutes, because I know people work. But if you want to forward while I shuffle, that's fine. But do not forward where you're skipping the readings, because you miss out on a lot. The readings usually connect. Okay, so what do we have, please, for Gemini? All right, it says, say yes. It's far better that you attempt to do something great and fail than to not try at all. All right, so if you guys have a little bit of fear of doing something that you've been wanting to do, but you don't, because you're probably like, oh, what if I fail? What if I this? Or an opportunity that's being given to you, don't say no. All right, they're telling you to say yes to whatever opportunity might come in. Remember that you can always go online and learn whatever it is you need to learn. Suppose this is a new career and they're offering you a position that you don't know anything about, or you just have a little bit, but then there's other people in that place that are already, like the ones who have moved up, right, that can teach you before they go on to their next position. Or you can ask your boss. So things can always be done. All right, so don't say no just because you don't feel confident in what you're gonna do, or whatever other situation it might be. Okay, like if you if somebody proposes to you and you say no out of fear that you may not be a good wife or whatever, right? Those kinds of situations. It says align with your higher path. The more you align with your soul's truth, the less resistance you'll face. Flow with purpose, not pressure. Okay, so just keep flowing. Flow with your purpose. Okay, my purpose is to do this. My purpose is to become that. Instead of saying, and this confirms this, no, I just feel too pressure. I don't want to do this. Of course, if you feel pressure, sometimes pressure isn't all bad, right? Sometimes pressure is good because it helps us to go be where we need to be when we're afraid, right? When we get that little push. So we might see the Death card, the Sun. We might see the Wheel of Fortune and the Tower. and the Nine of Pentacles. What do we have? And like I said, the Five of Wands. What do we have? What are the first three cards that we have for Gemini? So you have the Four of Pentacles. It's like you're holding on to that idea that you can't be good enough to take something new on, or like you can't face challenges, and you're holding on to your old ways. One more, please, for Gemini. Yeah, something is definitely being offered to you. All right, so whoa. All right, they gave me 5 cards. So I just need one more. Yeah. All right. So you're holding on to something, and that could for sure be your pentacles, your money, but also this idea that, you know, I might not do well. Okay. And then here comes somebody. This person might be a woman who's offering you this opportunity. Okay. And she's definitely somebody who you can speak to, who's caring, who's empathetic, very loving. So she'll, you know, bring you in, teach you what you need to know, so that you will be able to move on to this new opportunity, whatever that is. Even if it's in love, right? You might have maybe like a mother or an aunt that tells you, no, go for it. This person really loves you or whatever. And here goes, you know, the new job, the new opportunity. So this confirms that it is. Again, it could be anything, you know, your own story, but this confirms that it could be a new job. All right. And you have the potential to do it. Okay. You're going to start making plans to see how you go about doing this. But you definitely have the potential. The universe wouldn't be doing this if they didn't think you could. All right. And what they're telling you also, always, of course, we always have to protect ourselves. You know, that's not anything major. But you're going to be, they're telling you to be very honest and try to embody the Queen of Swords, you know, mentality, her energy. To be honest, if there is something that you don't understand or questions that you may have, just ask them with confidence, and you're going to be really successful with the Star. Really, really successful, okay? All that hope, all that faith that you had, it comes to light. Anything that you wish for, that you ask for, it comes right in. So you don't have to worry. You don't have to lose hope on anything. Because if you were praying, manifesting, you know, staying in faith, it's been answered. One more, please. All right, I told you, I'm not any tarot reader. The Wheel of Fortune, and at the bottom of the deck, Justice. Because it was something that needed to happen. It was something. Maybe people were overlooking your hard work. They weren't really paying attention, and that change comes in, right? Change, lucky change, good karma, a turning point, right? That you're like, oh my God, I didn't think that I could do this, you know? And then once you're in a new position, once you're in a new relationship, whatever it might be, you feel like, okay, I'm glad that I said yes, because if I had said no, what might have happened? All right, we're moving to the money and career part of the reading. What do we have for Gemini, please? Can I have one for Gemini? Thank you. All right, so we have, if you're watching the short, I leave the full reading below. It gets cut after 3 minutes, so I don't want you to miss the messages. That's why I'm leaving the link below. All right, so job security, right? Now that you're moving on to a new place, this might be a leadership position. Whatever that situation is, it's going to be a job that gives you everything that you need, like good health benefits, you know, good retirement. But they're telling you to continuously improve your skills, right? I was talking to you about the internet. We can learn anything from the internet these days. So they're telling you continuously improve your skills and keep going. Looking, okay, have an eye for beauty and uncover hidden charms. Seek and you will find. So now that you're in a good place, that's basically, you know, keep seeking, keep looking. How else can I better myself? What else can I do with the gifts that I have, right? Am I a good cook? Am I a good painter? Let me look into those things to try and make money. What do we have, please, for Gemini? All right, shedding. So you're going into a new skin, okay? The old is gone, and now you're shedding like a snake, and you're growing, right? There's a lot of growth, and it says that you can outgrow your job situation, right? Starting something new, and this is exactly what we saw in the beginning. So it's like some of you get promoted, and you set yourself higher goals and standards, okay? And this might also be with titles like having to do with medicine, doctors, nurses, right? You might be like in the medical field. Let me know in the comments if that's correct, because that's what my guides are giving me. All right, we move on to love. If you're watching the short, I leave the link below. What do we have for Gemini, please? It says drugs and alcohol. So this might be somebody who you maybe know that you're in love with. Remember that love is not necessarily like romantic. This could be a friend that's into drugs, okay? I don't know. I don't want to pass judgment. This could be you. This could be a person you broke up with. This could be your significant other. But there's somebody that you know is into these things, and it's kind of like frustrating you. And then they tell you, quit reading behind the lines. There's nothing there. If you know you're being breadcrumbed, don't overanalyze it, right? Because we're not dumb. We're humans. We know when people are breadcrumbing us. We know when people aren't giving us anything. One more, please. Passion. Don't be afraid to fail. You see? Follow what makes your heart beat. So this might definitely also have to be with in love. We started this way, right? Don't be afraid to fail, right? With the card that says, say yes. Don't be afraid to fail. This is why I tell you, do not forward, because the messages are connected, especially when it comes to confirmations. They connect, okay? And they let you know what's going on. All right. So especially if there's someone that you're really passionate about, or something that you're really passionate about, why hold yourself back? Right? How are you going to know if you don't take that risk? You're not going to know. We move on to oracle messages. If you're watching the short, I leave the full reading, the link to the full reading at the bottom. If you're feeling stuck in any area of your life, whether it is in your relationship, a job, or just a situation, ask yourself, what is stopping me from leaving? Yes, leaving is scary, but sometimes it's the right step to take. Be brave. We are right beside you. Okay? So if you want to leave from an old job, you know, that could be the situation in your life, an old job or relationship. It's so clear in the reading. They're telling you to just go and say yes. Okay, and then we have the number 4, which means stability, and you have bear energy. Find strength in calmness and reflection. Some of you may need to find a quiet place just to reflect on what it is you're going to do, but it's here. Right? It's not changing anything. And then it says lighthouse. Be the guiding light for yourself and others. Mainly in this situation, you have to be the guiding light for yourself first. Okay, so I'm going to tell you have Aquarius. So you have another air sign in the tarot. Then you have Sagittarius. You have Earth energy, which is Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus. And then you have more of air sign, right, with the Queen of Swords. All right, I'm going to give you more signs to see who else. So you have Libra, again, in your sign. You have Aries, which is fire. And then you have Scorpio, which is water. All right, so you may be dealing, in addition to these people, also with the people that I got out. All right, guys, this has been your reading. Take care. I hope that it resonates. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that when I go live, you can enjoy those free tarot questions. Take care.